Hey, you guys, welcome to Alex and Andy Live, coming to you in association here with Shanghai Daily. Obviously, we're in Shanghai, China, which is still under lockdown, a citywide lockdown, because of a explosion, you could say, in COVID cases since March 1st. It is Tuesday the 19th, so day number 19 in full lockdown here. We have a little bit of good news today. Somebody has already commented on YouTube saying, waiting for some good news. We do have some good news, some bad news. But first, we will. Alex, first, how was your day?
Fine. Fairly uneventful day. Again, no test, although I did find out that there are some people, not in my community, but there's a small living area that's like a very small community right next door to mine that's got like 30 something cases in it or something like that. So that's really not good for my prospects. It's not good. So it's not good for my prospects for going outside anytime soon, but it is what it is. Where are you at? How you doing?
Yeah, same thing, just the same thing. This morning I did a 1 hour live stream with an American YouTuber called Danny Haifeng. He's in New York, a cool guy. We were just chatting about the situation in Shanghai. Other than that, just preparing for the broadcast. We have a comment from Alamek. He says, Alex, looking sharp today. I think he likes your crisp yellow shirt there, Alex. Summary look.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep the comments coming in, you guys. But first, we need to talk about today's news. Obviously, you're looking at the live view there of Shanghai. And to get the latest news on the numbers here and so on, we are joined by our colleague as ever, Yang Jian. How's it going?
Hi, Alex. Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Hey, so where are my questions here? Oh, yeah. So can you elaborate? Because we have some good news about the numbers going into quarantine versus numbers coming out. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it might be the landmark day because it is the first time in the city that the number of discharged COVID-19 patients has exceeded that of the city's daily new coronavirus cases. And today, 23,000 patients were discharged, comparing with some 19,000 newly confirmed cases. So there is a gap of over 4,000 between the beds at local COVID-19 hospitals and the patients. And the number of new COVID cases on Monday also declined by nearly 2,000 from that of the previous day. And among them, more than 500 tested positive during the PCR screening, and all the others have already been put under central quarantine as close contacts. Andy.
Okay, that's really good. So what do you think this means for Shanghai in terms of the fight against Omicron that we're fighting right now?
Yeah, I think it might be the beginning of a virtuous circle because, in Wuhan back in 2020, the epidemic was put under control soon after the number of discharged patients from the Leishanshan, one of the two key makeshift hospitals, exceeded that of the city's daily new cases. So it happens in Shanghai today. So I think that is a very positive signal for the city's epidemic situation. And it means that beds are now waiting for the COVID patients. And the executive vice mayor just announced that the city is conducting the daily PCR testing through Thursday for the locked down areas, along with the antigen self-testing for the controlled and the precautionary areas. So if anyone tested positive during the ongoing screening, they can be put under central quarantine immediately. So there would be no additional infection. I think it's very important because it is vital to Shanghai's current COVID strategy. That is early screening, early detection, early quarantine, and early treatment. And secondly, I think it means additional medical resources can be spared for patients of other diseases. And the doctors can also focus more on the COVID patients in severe conditions. There are still 21 COVID patients in serious conditions at local designated hospitals. And thirdly, I also I think it also means that the living condition at these makeshift hospitals can be further improved when there is fewer patients there. So people will be less fear of being central quarantined at these makeshift hospitals. Alex.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's definitely good news. Obviously, it's good to see the numbers coming down. But we do also have some bad news that we learned today to do with the number of casualties so far. Can you tell us about the new reports of deaths that we had this morning?
Yeah, the official from the city's health commission announced that 7 elderly COVID-19 patients between the age of 16 and 101 died of severe underlying diseases on Monday, such as diabetes and hypertension, heart disease, and brain hemorrhage. And none of them had been vaccinated. And I remember yesterday, the city just announced that on Sunday, 3 seniors aged between 89 and 91 years old died, and their direct cause of death were also their underlying diseases rather than the coronavirus directly. So the death toll has been reached 10 in Shanghai since the COVID resurgence on March the 1st. And comparing with the total infection number of the city, the death rate of Omicron still might not so deadly. But considering in the city, 100% of the death cases were the elderly people without vaccinations, so I think it is very important for more local seniors to get vaccinated, and the booster shot will be better after the end of the lockdown in their communities. So far, the vaccination rate among people above 60 years old remain low at 60%, and the rate of booster shots is only 30%.
Yeah, definitely something we need to.
Go ahead, Andy.
Sorry, I was going to say definitely something we need to watch out for, and we're hoping that more elderly people in that real, vulnerable population will look to getting vaccinated ASAP. Yang Jian, thank you so much. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. Thank you.
All right.
So good and bad news there, Alex.
Yeah. So, he did make a good point. Yang Jian made a good point there, and in saying that, this could be an inflection point or a turning point in terms of the way this is going, sort of the situation that we were looking for. Although the number of cases did decline, it's still above 20,000, and so it's still in that same 20 to 25,000 sort of range that we've been seeing over the last, almost 10 days now, pretty steadily. But one thing that is good that he mentioned was that the number of the outflow in terms of the central quarantine facilities is now greater than the influx of patients. So I believe the number was 22,000 were released in comparison with 19,000 that were admitted to these facilities. And so that's good in terms of it means that there will be less pressure, less stress and pressure on the entire system that's caused so many of the inefficiencies and issues that we've seen so far. Hopefully that this can allow for a bit of a, if this trend continues, of course, just one day of 4,000 is not enough. It's got to continue this way. But if more people can be released from the facilities than are flooded into them, obviously we're going to see better conditions, and we'll see, just sort of a better overall mood and an overall situation, not to mention, obviously, a reduction in the number of overall cases that we've got. So it's good news.
Yeah, it is good news. We're heading there, I feel, based on my unprofessional opinion. It feels like a turning point, especially yesterday we saw with a vlog we played on the show, someone who was discharged. We saw that a lot of the beds in the facility were empty, which is, it's what we want to see. So hopefully those numbers will keep going down. But in terms of
have we lost you?
COVID patients got this morning. Oh, cutting out. And they were aged 60 to 101 years of age, although the vast majority were 75 to 101 years of age. So again, as Yang Jian said, they're in the vulnerable population. So hopefully we can keep protecting those people. That number will come down as well as the numbers inside quarantine. But speaking of quarantine, we do have another guest at the moment who is one of our colleagues, Amy. Now, she unfortunately found out she was COVID positive very recently and is now inside one of the central facilities. So let's bring her in. Amy, can you hear us?
Can you hear us? I think you might be on mute.
Oh, there's no sound coming through. Can you hear us?
I think she
can there's no sound.
I can't hear you. Uh-oh.
我觉得不要用那些耳机吧，耳机关掉吧。
我们听不见。
okay.
哦，好了。
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
So is it okay now?
Got it.
Yep.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Yes.
Amy, can you tell us where you are now, when you arrived, and what you're feeling at the moment?
Yes, actually, I was arriving in this Jing'an Sports Center yesterday morning, quite early. Seems like 6 o'clock in the morning. And we've been waiting for all the process to get us in around. When I was settled down, it was 7:30. So I arrived here yesterday morning and been staying here for 1 day.
Okay. When did you find out that you had tested positive for COVID?
Actually, my husband was tested positive around April 4th, and I was confirmed at April the 7th. So it's been 11 days before.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So, Amy, we saw that a lot of people going into central quarantine will bring a lot of maybe supplies with them, maybe some earplugs or something like that. What did you bring with you into quarantine?
Yeah, I also bring a luggage with me.
Oh, wow.
Yes, actually, I bring all the clothes and the books because I need to kill my time. You can see I bring books with me. And because actually I was in the extra bed. You can see that. Can you see it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because actually when we arrived yesterday morning, all the beds are occupied. We have no place to actually stay, so they have the extra bed for us. So I was actually in the lanes. That's why it's lucky I bring my luggage. Yeah, otherwise I have no table at all. So I just use my luggage. This one served as my table here.
Nice.
So kind of what is the general feeling amongst the patients there? What's kind of the mood that you're noticing?
I think they probably just like me. When I was first confirmed, I was very shocked and feel why I'm the lucky one. However, after a couple of days, everybody gets to be more peaceful, and they already accepted what has happened, and that they just want to be treated, just normally, because nobody wants to be the unlucky ones. But who knows if you are the one? So I think they're peaceful. You can see lots of people, they're reading books. There probably lots of people there already fell asleep, and it was very quiet at this moment. It was just 7:45, but it's very quiet here already.
Amy, thank you so much for sharing your story with us so far. We hope you feel better soon, and maybe we'll even catch up with you tomorrow and see how you're going.
Yeah, it's okay. Thanks.
Hope
Thank you so much.
Stay safe. See you.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, poor Amy. So again, that's our colleague Amy from Shanghai Daily, who recently found out that she was COVID positive, and she is in the. Did she say she's in the Jing'an Sports Center, Alex?
Yeah. Now, is that the one that's on
the same one?
It's at Wuding and where is it? Wuding Lu and Jiangning Lu. I think if that's the one I'm thinking about.
I think it's the same one with the violin player.
Yes, right. So it's not a particularly large one. Obviously, I've been in that building many times. It's not a particularly large one, but they obviously you can sort of see the scale of it there on the video. If I'm thinking of the correct place.
Yeah, I've never been there before. I'm not a sports guy. But yeah, Amy, we hope you feel better soon, and it'll be really cool to catch up with her shortly. Obviously, it's not a great situation.
Sorry, Andy. It seems like she got her first her positive test quite a few days ago. So, hopefully that means that she'll be testing negative in no time.
Exactly. Okay, I'll just quickly read some comments that we're getting through YouTube. Kevin, welcome back. He says, everyone's looking sharp. Thank you so much. I was feeling a bit left out there, Robert A says, Andy, enjoyed watching your video on CGTN today. Robert, I'm not sure which video that was, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let me know which video that was. That sounds really cool. Wu Zhao says, 加油, 加油. That is a message for Amy. So yeah, Amy, hoping you can feel better soon. He also said, finally, a turning point. Really, that is true. Hopefully, we're going to see that continue. Alamac asks, you guys do PCR many times a day, right? No, just one time a day.
Yeah.
It's not normally every day, although here in my compound, we've done it for the past 3 days in a row. I don't know about you, Alex.
I did one. Wow, no, I didn't do one today. And we did one I think we did one yesterday morning. Did not get a knock.
It's all melting into one.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I've just seen that it's Tuesday, but again, as I've been saying the last few days, you could tell me that it's Friday. I wouldn't have any idea.
Exactly.
I believe it was yesterday morning we went to do one. I'm really hoping that, given the fact that we have a number of positive cases, I'm really hoping that we don't need to go downstairs to do any more tests. Obviously, we discussed yesterday that sort of situation, and so I'm really hoping that they don't ask us to go downstairs. If we need to do a PCR test, hopefully they can come to our door and do that. So I'm hoping that that's what the procedure is in our neighborhood at this point, given the fact that we've had several positive cases recently.
Right, we did see that last night, a new policy where if you've had a case in your compound within the last 5 days, you will no longer be required to go downstairs with everybody to do a PCR test, and they'll come to your door. Obviously, that hasn't happened for you yet, but hopefully that will be the case, and it keeps people safe. Obviously, like we were saying yesterday, sometimes for many of us, the only time we're actually coming into contact with other people is to do the PCR test. So it doesn't make a lot of sense if the cases are coming.
For sure. And I mean, I have been able to get a number of deliveries, be they from our our Chuehui is dropping the ball a little bit. We got a delivery of food from our actually, which I thought was strange, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's food. Thanks to them. I've gotten some deliveries also from Jingdong, as I discussed on the show yesterday, and some other things as well. But when the volunteers deliver the goods, we're to Bushroe, meaning we're not allowed to go outside at all, except for COVID tests ostensibly. But they will bring it up to our door, drop it at the door, knock on the door, and then they'll go somewhere else. And so we're not actually, there's no hand-to-hand contact or any sort of like face-to-face communication. Usually they'll just drop it at my door, bang on the door, then they're over back by the elevator or the stairwell, and I just kind of shout out, xie, or whatever. And then
Say wait. Yeah, no, I think that's the way it should be. But yeah. Okay, another question really quickly. A comment. Someone says, really hope COVID restriction in Shanghai will end soon. Our factory has been closed for not enough material. Goods are ready for container loading. So yeah, obviously with Shanghai being a really massive city, part of the supply chain of many places around the world, obviously people are, even if you're not in Shanghai, you could be affected. So yeah, thanks for that comment. And Kevin James Ng says, get well, Amy, and everyone. Someone else also pointed out that we didn't ask if she has any symptoms. We asked how she's feeling. I guess we'll ask tomorrow. You guys, if you have any questions for Amy, sure. I think it would be really cool to get her back on the show tomorrow. So get your questions in and we'll ask those for you. But now we are going to watch a video that is from a top epidemiologist in China, which is Mr. Wu Zunyou, who is the chief epidemiologist with the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And he is talking about COVID zero, dynamic COVID zero. So let's see what he says for a bit of an official look into the situation here in China.
个人感染这个新冠病毒以后啊，他要经过1到2天的复制增殖以后呢，他才向体外排毒。那么这种排毒的话呢，会持续这个7到12天。那么排毒期间呢，它就有传染性，就可以传染给别人。如果这个病毒能够，它之所以能够在这个长期存在的话，它就是需要不停的在人间传播。如果它不能够传染给别人，那么它就终止了。一般来说的话呢，如果我们让一个感染的人在一个最长的排毒时间内不传染给其他人，那么这个人体的免疫力就把这个病毒呢消灭掉了，就消灭掉了。那如果对于一起疫情来说，如果我们能够把所有的感染者都给他发现出来，都给他进行物理隔离，让他呢在一个最长的排毒期不传染给这个其他人，那这样的话呢，病毒呢在这个地方呢就这个消灭掉了，就消灭掉了。那也就是说的话呢， 这个动态清零啊，如果我们对疫情呢发现的早，它的规模小，那么我们动态清零的目标呢就容易实现。
Well, that was obviously, as you can see here, from Xinhua News Agency. Obviously, this kind of talk from epidemiologists, experts, a lot of it kind of goes over my head. So, Alex, what did you make from that?
Well, I mean, the point he was making is not too complicated. I mean, that's the way a virus works, right?
Sorry.
Viruses are not like bacteria or other kinds of infections where you can treat them with specific medicines like antibiotics for bacterial infections, etc. Viruses are not as susceptible to that sort of thing. So what it is the person, the infected person, as the doctor mentioned, what the infected person's immune system will do is kill the virus. When the virus is being expelled from the body, that is when it's the most easy to infect others. And so the idea that the doctor was talking about was that to isolate and quarantine all infected people, and then those infected people, so the vast majority of them, especially during Omicron, will be able to defeat the virus. And then in that particular area, hopefully we're referring to Shanghai here, then the virus can be eliminated for the time being. So yeah, that's what he means. So I think it's not too difficult to understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, but I was wondering if he meant eliminating the virus in different districts as well, because obviously we're looking at different outbreaks around Shanghai. Some areas on the outskirts of Shanghai are already quite relaxed in their lockdown. We saw video of shopping going on in the outskirts. Shanghai is obviously a huge city geographically. There are some places that are, say, 50 kilometers away, an hour or more drive. So if you look at a map of the cases in Shanghai at the moment, a lot of them are centered around the central city where we are. So yeah, I think maybe even it's a step-by-step thing before the whole city is back to zero, but we're still waiting for that.
I think I think that's definitely the case, and I'm very hopeful that it will be successful, because I think the thing that's concerning for me personally, and I'm not sure how you feel about this, but the thing that's concerning for me personally is, eliminating the virus in one area is great, but then does that mean that area has to be then segmented off from other areas? Are we going to be restricted from? I mean, obviously we are right now. We're in the middle of the outbreak, but I mean later on, be restricted from going from one district of Shanghai to another, or restricted from going from Pudong to Puxi, or then further down the road, will we be restricted from going to other cities in China? And then obviously the question that many of our viewers are really concerned about is, will we be restricted from going to or returning from other countries? And so let's hope that this is able to get cleared up as quickly as possible. That way we can get back to normal on that front, because it's been a long time since some of us have been able to go home.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is quite tough for foreigners living in China, not just Shanghai, all of China. For the past 2 years, we've lived quite normally. As we've pointed out before, this is Shanghai's first ever lockdown because of COVID. It's the first ever time we've had a really serious outbreak. So this is quite new to us, which may be alien to those of you overseas. But because China in general was in such a good place for the past 2 years, by and large, with COVID zero, we haven't been able, like Alex said, to leave the country easily and come back. So hopefully the world can get to some kind of equilibrium again, where we can freely go home and travel around. Obviously, in terms of Shanghai, we're in lockdown at the moment in this city, but in terms of China, we've more or less been quite insular and locked off from the rest of the world for the past 2 years. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. It's a complicated question. But on that note, let's relax our brains a little bit and watch another one of our musical performances from online concert we held not long ago. Now, Alex, this one, you might remember the guy playing trumpet, and then at the very end of his performance, he was like, "Didn't you guys hear the music in the background?" And so it turned out he had an accompanying track that didn't kind of work out. So when you're watching this video, you guys, just remember there was meant to be an accompanying track. It still sounds really good. Regardless. Yeah. So we'll have a watch, and we'll be back very shortly.
Okay.
Very good. That was a performance by a Chinese Australian called Julian Zheng, who was playing Virtuoso, which is really nice sounding. Did you remember that, Alex?
I do. Yeah, I remember that he was a little disappointed that the accompanying track couldn't be heard through our audio, but I think at the same time it sounded really good anyway, and I didn't notice it, and I wouldn't have noticed it if he had mentioned it. So I think it was a good performance for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, moving along now. Obviously, food has been a really hot topic here in Shanghai during this lockdown, especially in terms of difficulties securing food, especially at the beginning, where people were having trouble just getting the basic stuff. Lately, as time has gone by, it's been a little bit easier to get our hands on the things we need, but people with special dietary requirements may be having a bit of a tough time, including, obviously, people like vegans in Shanghai. Now, being a vegan, even in normal times, Alex, must be pretty tough here in China. What do you reckon?
I've never been a vegan throughout my lifetime, but I do imagine that it would be difficult. I think I think in Shanghai it might be easier than it might be in other cities in China or certainly in other cities around the world. But then again, I don't know that the vegan population is quite as high here in Shanghai as it might be in other countries or other cities. I think there's probably a lot more vegans in, I don't know, New York or San Francisco or London than there are in Shanghai, just a guess. But in any case, there are some vegans here for sure, and so we're going to have a conversation with a member of the vegan population and sort of figure out how that's going during the pandemic. So, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Monica. Can you hear us?
Oh,
hello. Oh, cool. Can you tell us a little bit about XB Vegan, your company?
Yes. So XB Vegan is a bilingual vegan advocacy platform. We promote plant-based lifestyle and its benefits. Plant-based lifestyle is one of the to battle climate change, actually. So, as you know, the greenhouse gas emissions from the traditional animal farming is a big contributor to GHG. UN says it is about 14.5%, which is more than all transportation put together. So personally, I'm interested in mainly protecting animals as much as possible. And there is a cruelty-free way to enjoy meat, and that is plant-based meat.
Yeah. I do know that you're right about that you are correct in that traditional animal farming does contribute really heavily to greenhouse gases. I've read a story, I read reports about that. Definitely is a fact. So I know a lot of people are having trouble facing issues just getting certain products during the lockdown. And how hard is that for vegans here in Shanghai? And then what are you guys doing to help out?
Yeah, I mean, it is not that hard for vegans, as we get a lot of vegetables. It's not a supply issue, more of a psychological well-being issue. We are used to have a lot of choices for plant-based meats and milk, egg, everything. But during lockdown, lack of this makes it harder for us to feel like we are living well. So no offense, but cabbage cannot satisfy vegans every meal, every day, whole of month. Yes.
Yeah.
It's true. Now I see your company or your group is called 小步 Vegan. Is that to do with slowly making like Shanghai a more vegan place, or what is the story behind the name 小步 Vegan?
Yes, so 小步 Vegan actually means like baby steps, like step by step. Actually, less than 10% of our 20 plus followers are vegan. So rest are part-time vegans and flexitarians. So we are a community who want to make Shanghai the most vegan-friendly city in China.
Definitely. So tell me a little bit about the plant-based meat patties or the plant-based meat products. How do they taste?
What is it like?
Yeah, my favorites are Beyond Meat beef mince, Omri pork mince, and Health Food chicken nuggets. So out of these agree. For my Chinese tongue, beyond taste closest to the real thing. So there are some articles I can share, but I'm not sure how can I share it. But Beyond Meat, Beyond is an IPO company, and their technology is simply unmatched. They make the texture with pea protein, and the seasoning is also plant-based. And they use the coconut oil for the fitness. So I can send you some samples or some products for your community, Andy, and maybe you can give me your address, and I'll give you neighborhoods a good deal.
That sounds really cool. I'm really excited about trying some plant-based meat. I've seen a lot about it in the media, and I'm really keen to see. So how can people find you or your group, XB Vegan, if they want to chat with you more or find out more information?
Yes, so right now, people need to join the group chat and fill up the form, and we will find a way to get you to this product. And once the lockdown is eased off, and people can just buy all the products from our mini program.
So what is it called? So they just search XB Xiaobu Vegan, they'll find you, right?
You can go to our account, and there's an article, and the QR code is in the article. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica. I'm looking forward to trying that plant-based meat, and good luck with the rest of the lockdown.
Thank you. Good luck to everyone. Yeah.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Wow, that sounds like an offer I can't refuse. Try some plant-based meat. Alex, have you seen? I saw recently in China, Kentucky Fried Chicken was saying they had some plant-based meat, but I never tried it. Have you ever tried it?
I mean, I've tried plant-based meat before. Like, I don't know, like when I was maybe like a teenager in my 20s, I probably had a few veggie burgers here or there. I'm not sure what those are made out of, like chickpeas or I don't even know. But in any case, I haven't had any plant-based meat in a number of years. I'm sure the technology has gotten a lot better as technology tends to do. And so I would be interested in trying some. Sure, why not? I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I'm keen as well. We got a lot of comments coming through on YouTube regarding our chat with Monica and veganism. PB World says, so glad we're talking veganism. So yeah, that's awesome. Hong says, vegan and vegetarianism is the future as we move towards a sustainable planet, and also part of the 15 points of sustainability.
It's not wrong. I mean, I agree with that. I haven't switched to. I mean, I like meat. I know is what a lot of us non-vegans say. Oh, we just like our meat, which is true. But you know, it's a good point. It's a really good point.
Yeah. Exactly. Alamac says, I'm not sure on plant-based diet, but did consume more tempeh and tofu. Now, tofu is very popular here in China. So yeah, lots of awesome comments there regarding veganism. Obviously, you can, if you're following us on WeChat in the Shanghai Daily Q&A group, we will send the link there for Monica's company, XB or Xiaobu Vegan. But yeah, thanks to Ke for coming along. Now, you guys, we're looking, as usual, at a beautiful view of Shanghai right now at 8:05 p.m. on Tuesday, the 19th of April, which is the 19th day of a full citywide lockdown. Beautiful. I want to go down there, Alex.
Yeah. You know, obviously today is day number 19 of lockdown.
Right.
I'm just like having like a running like a calendar where I stick something up on the wall every day or something. But because I've got another 2 weeks for sure. But yeah, not great, but it is what it is. Anyway, and so yeah, I do miss going out. I miss going places. Remember going places, Andy? Wasn't that fun?
Yeah, that was cool.
One day, I joke. Obviously, we're gonna be out and about again eventually. But yeah, I do miss going out. Shanghai is a city. For those of you who live here, you know this. I'm sure some of our viewers live here now. Some of our viewers probably lived here in the past. And then for those of our viewers who've maybe never even been here before, Shanghai is a city with all different manners of fun things to do, fun activities, fun places, great places to eat, good things to go see. And so it's just it's not good to be sort of locked away from all that, but we know it's still out there and it's going to be waiting for us when this ends. So
Yeah, we're still waiting. Now, I don't want to put a damper on your 2-week wait, Alex, but I'm still tracking for the 24th of April. Come the 24th, technically, my my compound will be in the precautionary area, which means I haven't had a case in the past 14 days. And technically, we can leave the compound and walk around the district. Obviously, public transportation is still closed, but I'm really looking forward to seeing if that really happens. Obviously, as has been the case with our show, we've found out during this lockdown that a lot comes down to the Juwei, the neighborhood committee. So even if our compound becomes part of that precautionary list, it's still not a given that the Juwei will let us leave. So we'll wait and see. But I do really want to get out, go for a walk, go down to the Suzhou Creek, maybe buy some supplies by myself, which will just, I think it'll really bring back a feeling of freedom. It doesn't feel, very free, obviously, being stuck at home for so long. But yeah, counting down the days.
Yeah. So the Juwei, just to recap, is the neighborhood committee for each neighborhood, and they have been entrusted with a lot of decision-making power during this outbreak.
Too much.
Well, for better or worse, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think some people are probably quite pleased with their neighborhood committees, if those committees are providing everyone with enough resources and are handling things in a good way. I think there are some people, as we know, that are frustrated with their neighborhood committees as well. Obviously, I think this is sort of the first time that they've had to deal with a situation like this. But yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of things are being handled differently in different communities. And so, hopefully you've got one that kind of can get with the flow of what's going on and make smart decisions and everything like that, because we are on some level a little bit at their mercy right now. And so, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We had a guest on the show probably, I think, more than a week ago, David, who was talking about group buying. And he mentioned a really good point, which is that, some of these Juwei or these neighborhood committees are doing a really good job, like you said, Alex, and those people are doing fine. But others aren't doing quite as well. It's a mixed bag. So, it really depends, the luck of the draw, I guess. A lot of decision-making, like you said, has been relegated to them. So, yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag across Shanghai. But yeah, we're moving out of it, as we saw today with Yangjian. The numbers appear to be coming down, especially if you look at the central quarantine sites, which are, by some accounts, are half empty now. More people are coming out than are going in, which is great news. Now, I just want to quickly hop across to our website, shine.cn, SHINE.cn, where you guys can check out the latest information on the situation here in Shanghai in the English language. I'm bringing this up because I want to check out the graph, actually, to get a visual representation of the numbers. And it doesn't look bad, Alex. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, there is definitely a decrease. Of course, we need to keep in mind that the way that we've done the graph here separates the blue, which are the symptomatic confirmed cases, from the gray asymptomatic.
Oh, you're right.
And so if we look over there, in recent days, we've seen higher numbers of people symptomatic, but lower numbers of people who are asymptomatic. But if you stack those two on top of each other, it would really come out to be the same. So we haven't seen any massive decreases, although today's number of, quick math, 20,416 is lower than what we've seen over the past several days, when the numbers were closer to 25,000. So that's good. And then, as our reporter Yang mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that the number of patients released from central quarantine facilities yesterday was around 23,000, whereas the number of people sent to central quarantine facilities was only in the 19,000 range. So that means we have a net outflow of patients from the centralized quarantine facilities, which is good. Which is very good. For a couple of reasons. First of all, it obviously shows that the city is making progress. The total number of infections has gone down even just a little bit. And it also eases some of the stress on those facilities and perhaps can lead to improved conditions there as well. So it's good. Small baby steps.
Yeah.
小步, baby steps.
Baby steps. 小步. Exactly. 慢慢来, we can do it. It is day number 19 of the citywide lockdown, as we mentioned. No definite end in sight, as you can see on screen, the numbers. And like Alex said, if you add the dark blue and the grey together, mind you, if you did that with every day, you would still see the same trend downwards, I think, Alex. But yes, it is a really lower number than we've had for a little while today. So we're taking that as success. Hopefully that number keeps going down. Of course, we've been saying that for the last, actually, I think we've done nearly 25 live broadcasts now since March 28th. Do you have the number, Alex?
Well, let's see. We've done every day in April. Sans 1, that would be 18 plus 4, so 22. This is number 22.
The 22nd live broadcast. So yeah, to our the Shanghai Daily bosses who are all tuning in, we love you guys so much, and really looking forward to our bonus, pay rise, and better benefits. Come on, you guys. Just joking. But yeah, do go along to shine.cn, which here's the main page now. There's a lot of, we update all through the day with information, important information. And as we said the other day, it's not just information about the situation in Shanghai. We also have all the different areas. I'll show you up here: world news, economy, opinion, business, and so on. So do head along there. Check out our official website for Shanghai Daily, which is, as you can see here, shine.cn. But on that,
you can also check us out on the WeChat official account, Shine or Shine about in Chinese. If you get your news via mobile app or mini program, which I think a lot of us do, check us out on Shine. You can also turn into our broadcast here from the WeChat video platform as well. Shine, S-H-I-N-E, or yes, and spell the word shine.
Yes,
S-H-I-N-E, or in Chinese, Shanghai Ribao.
Shanghai Ribao. Yep, but I am getting ahead of myself here, Alex, because we do actually have one more video. Sorry. So let's play that video now, which is a quick video about the farming situation here in Shanghai. And when we come back, we'll round up and say goodbye.
我们去那个疫情在管控住以后，我们去农业农村委和镇里农业部门已经列了白名单，让农机作业人员、还有育秧的工作人员、还有农资配属人员尽快上岗，确保这个谷物农时。我们也是要求他们在生产中同时要做好防疫的工作。
疫情严重以后呢，这个人员比较就是讲一个紧张。我合作社总共是12个人，现在6个人已经基本上已经闭关在。我们合作社现在基本上已经率会已经达到了95%，就是抓紧时间，尽量把那个省车投取的最小。
Yep.
Oh, that was quick. Yeah, that is one of the outlying areas of Shanghai, Fengjian district. It was Fengjian district, right?
Fengjian, yeah.
Oh, Fengjian. They talking about how they're dealing with the situation here, and that was by one of our reporters. So good to see. Just a quick look at comments again. Someone asked, Alex and Andy, where does the name Zero COVID come from? It's pretty simple. It just comes from zero, zero COVID.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything more to it than that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he asks, what is it in Mandarin? It's a 动态清零政策.
That would be dynamic zero. Zero COVID would be 清零, qing being to clean it or clear it out, ling being zero. So they're calling it 清零, and then dynamic. You were saying, I cut you off. Sorry, go ahead, Andy.
动态 dynamic. 清零, like Alex said, it's also a computing term, which means eradicate, 清零, and then 政策, which means policy. Somebody says, I feel sorry for the farmers. Australia is also caught in such a situation. No workers, even restaurants are affected. Yeah, a lot of the world is facing problems still because of COVID, even though the rest of the world is much of the world is opening up. So yeah, we can all do this together, you guys, whether you're watching from Shanghai or anywhere around the world. This is it sounds dramatic, but it's something that's affecting all of humanity. So hopefully sometime in the future we'll look back on this time and not laugh about it, but you know what I mean, remember it as some just we learned from it.
Yeah, right. We'll look back on it as a time of perseverance, let's say. Yeah.
Yes, that's a great way to end the show, Alex. Very dramatic. But you guys will be back tomorrow at the same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until then, bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.